Hello, welcome back. Another Sunday evening, hanging out, making art together. This week I'm feeling a little nostalgic, so I had this idea last night that I would take a beloved family cookie cutter of our old pal Snoop and turn him into a embroidered ornament. So I spent the time this morning. It took me 4 episodes of Victoria on Netflix, however long that is, to create the shape, do all the stitching, put in all the beautiful sparkly sequins and little pearls, and then glue it all together. And so now tonight on our call, I'm going to, our call in the video, our call like we're on the phone, like we're Zooming. Maybe we should Zoom sometime. So I'm going to try to use these little black beads, size 11/aught. I hope they're black. Right now I'm looking at them and they're brown. Well, let me pause this a second. Okay, well, we cleaned that up. Now I have decisions to make. I can go with what I thought I had, which was 11/aught black, regular. I can do 8, which should be a little bit bigger, which might be helpful because it could cover up some of the ugly gappage. Should I do 8? Maybe 8 would be good. And then the other idea was these hex beads, which are fun because the angle, instead of being round, the dimension on the outside. I'm not using my usual bead mat here, so let me tell you, felt does not a good bead mat make. Yeah, you know what? I think I am going to go with the 8s. I think the 8s are the better idea. Well, good thing I messed that up because now I went and found a better bead, not just in color, but in size. All right, so we're going to go with an 8/aught shiny black bead to go around the edge. I thought it would look, you know, since Snoopy's a cartoon, I thought let's use a bead that's black so it looks like the outline of the drawing of Snoopy in the first place. I could have done white to just kind of disguise everything here, but I think I want to outline it in black. Then the other idea could be that I could outline these other features. His pom-pom's not as round as I wanted it to be. Might have to play with that a little. It's hard to get round things to make a round shape sometimes. All right, so now we're focused, we're settled in. Got out of that distracting moment. I'm going to start back here because the beads hang over a little bit. I am by no means an expert in doing this, so this is not a place to come to learn how to do this with me. This is a place to come hang out with me while I try to do something that I've never really done before. I've done things in the neighborhood of it, but not actually this. So I'm not sure, do I take multiple beads and go back and restitch into them? Let's see what happens. Which way do I want to go? Do I want to go this way? I wonder, like, right-handed versus left-handed, what do people do? You guys do any beading? If so, what kind of beading do you do? Do you do any embroidery? How was your week this week? What sort of creative stuff have you been up to? See, I'm thinking go back here. Right? No. Let's just go back one. So we're into December now. And yesterday was St. Nicholas Day, which I grew up with my family celebrating. My mom is from Germany, and we were raised to put our shoes out at night outside our room on the evening of December 5th. So you could see if St. Nicholas thinks you're good or if you've been naughty. If you were good, you got a little present, usually like some sort of chocolate or something. And if you were naughty, you'd get a rute, which is like a bundle of sticks to a switch. Not like a gaming switch, but like the bundle of sticks switch, you know, the kind our generation had. And it was intended to be used to smack you around with on your rear end to straighten out your naughty ways. And thankfully, I don't recall ever actually having been hit with one, but I do recall getting a rute one year that had little candies attached to the sticks. So it was like, you were good, but also a little bit naughty. So behave yourself before Santa comes. All right, this is not sitting where I want it to. Because I had to put a little bit of watercolor paper in here to make it thick so that it would not be floppy. So I'm going to trim that back a little. With probably the worst scissor on the planet for doing that. I don't know why these aren't even my scissors. Why did they end up in my craft room? I could put a little spot of glue in there. Maybe when I'm done, if it's still not quite holding up, I'm going to try to stitch it. Try not to get the hanger in there. Anyway, so yeah, so St. Nicholas Day was always, how that turned out okay. Always the day we looked forward to, my brother and I. It's like the start of the magic of the season for us. But then, when I was a young adult, we lost my beloved Nana, passed away on December 6th. Which is St. Nicholas Day. So that made it a little bit harder to celebrate. But I was getting to be an adult anyway, so I didn't have the childish expectations of receiving anything from St. Nicholas. And then 9 years after that, my father also passed away on St. Nicholas Day. So it became a difficult holiday because I wanted to be happy, I wanted to celebrate, but it was a challenge. It's when you miss somebody on a day that's a happy day already, and then it's combined with a darker anniversary. It made it hard to thoroughly enjoy and be as excited. And I think because I was so young when my dad did die, I was a young adult still. Wasn't even 30 yet. And it was hard to lose a parent at such a young age. And I still was figuring out how to be an adult, and so I think it just became part of the suck it up kind of process. The time I was expecting my first child, who was born a month and a half later. And so, you know, there was that to be excited about and happy about. Much rejoicing. And so we spent the next many years trying to make St. Nicholas something for our kids. And I just kind of backburnered my feelings. And then, I don't know, December just became a hard month for me. Because now, you know, I would kick off the month with St. Nicholas Day and remembering my Nana and my dad. And then several years later, my brother passed away. My brother's birthday is December 21st. So it just felt like December was getting very dark for me. And we tended to not be super Christian. Like we kind of, you know, were open to all sorts of different ideas about spirituality. And we were looking at solstice and the idea of celebrating the return of light. And it just felt so very appropriate. After having had so many dark times in December. And then my brother's birthday being on solstice. So we thought, okay, let's try to make solstice be the main focus for us, or the concept of solstice. Again, let me get a pointier scissor for this piece. So then, now a couple of years ago, my mother also passed away. And of course, you guessed it, in December, toward the end of the month. And now, like, I'm the last of my original nuclear family. And I think of all of them in the month of December. And so, this year, St. Nicholas Day, yesterday, starting to try to make it more meaningful. Starting to think of and celebrate and remember important things. And discovering, not really discovering, because after all this, kind of knew, but remembering how grief is a process. It's not a light switch. And some days are harder than others. And it's really a mindset, right? I can choose to feel horrible, right? Sometimes the sadness creeps up on you, but it's like, what do you do with it? Do you let yourself feel like shit the rest of the day? Or do you give yourself that moment to feel the sadness, feel the grief, miss the people you miss, and then reset? And how do you reset? What do you do to reset? For me, my family now is my husband and my children. And I reset by talking with them. Including them, sharing the stories, sharing my memories. Because it's their family too. My kids did not know my dad, did not know my brother very well. because they were young when he passed. So it's important to keep their heritage alive by sharing stories about the people they're also related to. And the best stories I love to share are the ones that are funny ones. But sometimes there's difficult ones too. And what we learn is we are a family no matter what. And so sometimes there's challenging things. And sometimes there's hilarious things. But it's all part of our experience together. And no adult is perfect. No child is perfect. No human is perfect. That's what the whole point of being human is, right? To experience what it's like to not be perfect. Because when we are just our soul, I believe that is when we reunite with perfection. We become part of the universe, part of love. And part of being human is remembering that we carry that essence with us all the time. So for me, when I decorate and make little ornaments like this, it's not about a Christmas tree as in it being Christ's birthday. It's about the traditions I was raised with and remembering my family members, and also looking at the lights on the tree and reminding myself that you go through dark times, but the light always comes back. It doesn't stay dark forever. And I think this is a good reminder in the world we're living in right now. So we've got some dark times in this country, on this planet. People can be real pieces of shit sometimes. But we have to remember the good and the light in ourselves, and even the potential light in others, in order to get through the dark times. We can't give up the hope that things get better. And they don't even just get better, but like the world can have good and bad coexisting at the same time. So when you're feeling the bad and you're tired of feeling the bad, whoops, poop, right? When you're tired of feeling the bad, you have to look to the good, look for it, seek it. You know, that whole idea of touching grass that people make fun of. It's really helpful. Because nature is where the good is. Nature has the good and bad coexisting all the time, right? Ever watch those specials where you see animals living their little lives, but also getting attacked and killed by other animals, right? Like that's life, right? That's the lesson of life. Like the Facts of Life theme song, right? Take the good, take the bad, take them both, and there you have the facts of life. So get yourself something to touch, something to look at, something to remind you that when shit starts to feel bad, it's not all bad. It's never 100% bad. And it also isn't permanent bad. Get yourself through it. And find the good in it. Oops. I gotta trim some of this paper back. So note to self in the future, make the cardboardy part smaller. Don't trim the string. Yeah, so you sit with me and do crafts and we never just talk about the weather, right? Gotta get deep. It's my nature. Can't help it. I'm a Pisces. It's what I do. So, what are you doing this month? What are you doing as we think about the change of light? We're not even in winter, right? We're not even in winter yet. First day of winter is solstice. Everybody hates on winter, but winter is when the light starts to return. Can we please have some snow this year? I love snow. Snow is so beautiful to look at. So peaceful to listen to. You ever go for a walk at night in the dark while the snow is falling? You can hear the snow falling, the peace in the air, because nobody's going out and driving in it. You can like hear the little twinkly sounds of the snowflakes as they fall. That's the stuff, man. That's the winter equivalent of touching grass. So I'm looking forward to getting some snow this year. I'm optimistic that this Jersey Shore kid will see some snow. So I wanted to let you know, remind you, if you don't follow us on Instagram or Facebook, please follow us there. We're also on Threads if you do that. Threads is it's become a nice, peaceful, ad-free place to be. And I wanted to let you know we have a couple classes scheduled for next week. Let me get this knot out of here. On Sunday, if you're in the Toms River, New Jersey area, we're hosting a class at the Bug Museum Insectropolis. It's called Art with Arthropods, and it's being taught by my amazing child Zoe, who is an illustrator and a bug expert. And she's going to show how to draw the Insectropolis's resident tarantula. Her name is Rosie. So you'll learn some techniques and you'll learn a little bit about the physiology of the tarantula and how to effectively draw one. And then on Monday, the 15th, we have a Zoom class that you can register for. Links are in our Instagram. And it is with the delightful poet Christina Norcross. And it's going to be about connecting with your inner healer. And can I just tell you, like, for any other reason, like if you only need one reason to sign up for that class, the one reason would be to spend time with Christina. Because if you ever want to meet an angel on earth, it is this Christina Raskoff. That's how long I've known her. Christina Norcross. We've only been married like forever to our spouses, and I still default to the maiden name. Christina is like the sweetest, most amazing soul, and just hearing her speak and her kind and loving words and her therapeutic poetry. It's going to be a class to take, and it's one of a series of 4. Starts in December, then there's going to be one a month, January, February, March. I highly recommend you get your butt in that class. It's an opportunity to connect with people, but mostly to connect to your inner healer. And if you can't make the class, go online and find Christina's website and find her books. I think she sells them on Amazon. Her poetry is absolutely beautiful and heartbreaking and lovely and uplifting, all the good things in all the right ways. Everything poetry should be. So I hope to see you at your classes next week. And when I finish this, I will post a little image of what this looks like when it's done. It's coming along quite nicely. And I hope to see you on here again soon. Thanks for hanging out with me, and while we're gone, hope you take a leap into art sometime this week and come back and see me again next week. Thanks for hanging out. And now I finished. Came out pretty good, right? Look how cute that looks. So from this cookie cutter to this cute little holiday ornament that's going to sparkle nice with those fairy lights on the tree. Thanks for hanging out. See you next week. Bye.